Okay. Is my screen visible to all? Can somebody confirm that?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so hello everybody. Many of you might be knowing me. For those who don't know me, I am Krish Sharma, a third year student from CSE department from ITS Engineering College, of course. Many of you might have seen me in the Android bootcamp that was from December to January, organized by GDSC, of course. And for now, I am the current Microsoft lead student ambassador for this tenure, and today we are going to have a session on introduction to GitHub. This will be a very basic session, so don't feel FOMO like you don't know GitHub or there is some advanced stuff. I'll teach from very basic. And yeah, so let's get started. Yeah, so just a prerequisite. All you need to have is a GitHub account to learn or to view repositories. Don't worry about if you don't know any of the terms. I'll explain everything. You just need to have a GitHub account for now, and these are some of our learning objectives, like we'll learn to open a repository, create a branch, commit changes to the branch, create pull requests, merge the pull request, and delete the branch. Don't worry if you don't know what is a branch or what is commit, pull, push, delete. Don't worry. um, I'll explain everything to you. These are some of our agenda for today. First, we'll have a small introduction to GitHub, like what is GitHub. Then we'll proceed towards some of its feature, like what are the advantages of using GitHub, and what features is provide us, like how much it makes our life easy, right? So let's move ahead to the introduction part. Okay, so what is GitHub? GitHub is a development platform that enables you to host and review code, manage projects, and build software alongside 50 million developers. So, just in simple terms, GitHub is a online platform just like our Instagram or any other platform. It's for developers. So here you can upload your code or create teams, collaborate with each other, and yeah, many things. So first, I'll teach you how to create a GitHub account. Okay, so all you need to do is visit github.com. Okay, so let's open up our browser. Just a second. I'll go with a private window. So just type github.com and you will land on a page something like this. Okay, so you all have to do is just go here, go for sign in. If you already have a GitHub account, or you can log in. If you don't have, you can use your email ID or password. I have already a GitHub account, so that's why it's suggesting me that. So just go there, click on sign in, and this is how your GitHub account will look like. Okay, if you have not created your GitHub account, it will ask for some basic information like your name, your institution name, how will you use GitHub, etc., etc. So I'll show you my profile on GitHub. So yeah, this is my GitHub profile. This section is called the README section. Okay, so this is where you introduce yourself in the GitHub. Like if someone is visiting from outside to your profile, he or she should know, na, ki, who are you, what are you doing, and what is your tech stack. Okay, so these are some my social handles. This is about me. This is from API. So there are various tools from which you can create a README file that automatically detect your current what you say current developments or your current contributions, and according to that, they create these kind of things. And these are some charts of contribution. So yeah, that's how you create your GitHub account and use it. So let's get back to slide. So that was all about introduction. Then let's discuss what is GitHub. Okay, so GitHub first, it's a digital workspace. So GitHub is like a virtual office or workspace on the internet. So what do I mean by this? Is like suppose you're working on a code. Okay, you're working on a project that has multiple code files. So what you do, you cannot share your code to others through like creating a document or txt file, right? So what you do is you upload your code to the GitHub so that that is accessible to your other teammates. Okay, so without GitHub, what will happen, like you develop something, you for example, sorry for the disturbance, you will, yes,
That's the storage. It
hello,
the project think of it.
is someone, please mute your mic if you don't have a doubt. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I was telling you was like if suppose you are working on a project, you wrote, for example, 100 lines of code. Okay, and now your teammate wants to add on something or wants to change something. So what you will do without GitHub is like you will send a file to him. He will make some changes, then he will again send your file to you. So this is a very hectic task, right? And there is no real time. You cannot change code real time, right? So that's why GitHub provides this feature, and that's why we call it a digital workspace. The next feature is it's a project. It helps in project storage. Like it's a place where you can store your projects. Like you develop multiple projects of you. What you do is you simply create a folder of it and store it in your laptop or your system, right? So what can happen is that, for example, uh, your system broke or your system got format, right? So all your projects will be vanished. So that's where GitHub will help you, so that you can get your get all your projects anytime from anywhere. So that provides you with the storage section. The next point is team collaboration. Just I told you that multiple people can work on the same project at the same time. Like it's a group of friends working on a class project together. So it's provide a collaborative features. Just a sec. So that all you all can write code, make changes, delete code, and build project together real time. Okay. The next point is version control. If anyone is having any doubt on any point, please interrupt me. Don't wait for me to stop. Okay. So yeah, the next point is version control. So GitHub keeps track of all changes made to a project. If someone makes a mistake, you can easily go back to an earlier working session. Just a second. Like, so what? Yes.
मैं
Are you,
मैं क्यों मारूंगा भाई?
please mute your mic if just a second. Yes. Okay, so I was discussing about version control. What do I mean by version control? Is there are these three terms like git commit, git push, and uh, Dulhania. Please don't make unnecessary voice, please. Please maintain the decorum of the session. I respect that, or otherwise I have to kick you out of the session. Yeah. So what do I mean by version control? Is that it keeps tracks of. Okay.
अबे भोसड़ी के अबे कोई है मादरचोद भाई कोई
Just a second. These people. Okay, now no one can interrupt. Disable the mic for everyone. Okay. So virtual, if anyone is having doubt, please raise your hand. I can see that you raised a hand because there are some people interrupting, making unnecessary voices and abusing and all. So yeah, version control. I was discussing about git commit, git push. So what is that? It keeps tracks of your keep tracks of your.
Krish, you're muted.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So in version control, you suppose you have 100 lines of code, right? And now you want to make some changes, like you go to the seventh line of the code, maybe deleted it, and then went to 20th lines of code, added some 3, 4 lines of code. Like this is how your project works, right? So now, for example, you made some changes, and now you want to go back to uh, uh, for example, 2, 3 versions back of where your project was. For example, after making changes, your project crashed, right? So how you will go back to that position? So that is called version control. So you commit that code, and from that you can control your versions, right? So that you can roll back if anything goes bad, or if you want to see like what changes were there, right? The next point is backup. So it's like having a
Bhaiya,
backup. Yes.
Bhaiya, how will we go back to the previous one? I could not understand it properly.
Yes. So there is a technology called Git, right? Or your GitHub CLI. CLI stands for a command line uh, interface, right? So there you can write Git commands to roll back to a previous version. Right, so there will be a whole list of versions, like all the changes you made. For that, you need to commit first, right? So, for example, you are on a stage, and now you think like maybe there can be more changes. So first, you commit that. Please mute your mic. Yes. So first you commit that, and that's how there will be a whole list of your versions. So that, and when you will write a command known as rollback, right? Rollback to that particular version, then you can roll back. Understood?
Okay, Bhaiya. Okay.
Okay. So the next point was backup. So GitHub provides a backup to your project online. For example, if your system crashes, your work is still safe on GitHub. So yeah, that's how GitHub works. It makes sure that you don't lose any of your files. It will be stored forever in GitHub server until unless GitHub deletes it, obviously. But yeah, and you can access that from anywhere, from any system. So the next point is sharing and contributions. So what does this mean? Like you can share your projects with others. If someone likes your projects and wants to improve it, they can suggest changes and you can decide whether to include these changes or not. Right? So when you upload your project to GitHub, there is an option known as set this as public repository. Right? So from there, that your project will be visible to the whole world. So if someone visits your repository and there's some changes, like maybe your UI can be improved, or maybe there is an error in this line of code. So that's how open source works, right? Multiple people come as contributors to your repository and contributes toward your project to make it better. The next point is community and discoverability. It's not just your friends, the people around the world can see and contribute to your projects. Just I told that it's like a library where people can find and learn from each other's work. So yeah, you can also just GitHub is not just for uploading your projects and files. You can also visit other people's projects and learn from that. Like if there are multiple projects, and some people also upload whole courses on GitHub, right? So there you can visit or read blogs and learn technologies and all, right? So these were some features of GitHub. If anyone is having doubt, they can ask. Shall we move ahead? Yeah. Okay. So what is Git and GitHub? They both sound very similar, right? So first thing first, Git and GitHub are not same. Okay. So Git is a technology, whereas GitHub is a platform. Okay. Git is your VCS, right? From there, Git in Git you run your commands, and in GitHub you upload your files. So please mute your mic if you don't have any doubt. It's a request to please maintain the decorum. Okay? Yeah. So here are some of other basic differences. Git is installed and used on a local machine, and it handles version control and supports branching. Okay, so basically Git is a technology, and whereas GitHub is a platform. In GitHub there are issues, discussions, pull requests, notification labels, actions, forks, project. These are some of the features of GitHub. So it's just like in GitHub, you use Git to publish your code or projects, whatever it is. For recent, I would not say recently, but from a couple of years, you don't actually need to learn Git to publish your code on GitHub. Of course, it's a very important and very good technology to learn. It's very useful in industries, but just to use GitHub, I don't think so. You necessarily need to learn Git. Okay, the interface of GitHub is very improved now, and you can just, if you don't know anything about Git, you can still use GitHub, right? So let's get ahead. So what are branches? Okay, so let's get into this. So branches are basically just like trees. Okay, so in tree, what you have a main stem, right? Or you can say the bark, right? From there, you have multiple branches. Okay, so just like that, GitHub has also branches. For example, when you publish or when you push your code for the first time or your project for the first time on GitHub, that is called your main branch. Okay, so now for example, if you want to include a new feature to your project, right? So what you can do is like you can directly jump to your original code base, make changes, and run it. What wrong can go in this situation is like, for example, your code broke. क्या था ना कोड एकदम से फट गया. So in big projects, you cannot just do control Z and go back to where you were, right? So for that you have a feature of branches. So what you do is you create a branch from the main branch. So and in this branch, you will include all your new features or anything you want to change. Okay, so if there are errors in the code, they will not hamper your main branch, and you will be easily able to delete it if there is something wrong with that branch. And if everything goes right, you successfully add a new feature to your project. So what you will do is like you will commit the changes, submit your pull request to the main branch, and then you will merge it to the main. So that's how majorly all the projects work in industries also. Like you always create a new branch for a new feature or a new purpose of a project, right? So we create multiple branch. A project have n number of branch, there is no limit to that. So that's how branches work. Okay, so let's get ahead. Okay, so now what are commits? If anyone is having any doubt, they can ask me right now. Okay, so Let's discuss about commits. So a commit is a change to one or more files on a branch. What do I mean by that? So when you are working with Git, there is a staging phase, okay, a virtual phase that's called a commit stage. It is a stage where you save your file but do not upload it to the GitHub, right? You do not publish it, but it gets saved in a virtual phase that's called commit. So whenever you make changes, you first commit it. It's a good practice to always first commit your changes, then push it to the GitHub, right? So that all your changes gets recorded, and if you want, you can roll back to your previous versions or go ahead, anything like that. Okay, so that's how commits works. And whenever if you are contributing to someone else's repository, this is how this is how your interface will look like. You will create a pull request and create changes you want, and then uh, if the owner of the if the owner of the project uh, verifies it and um, approves it, your commit will be approved, right? So here are pull requests. So what is pull request? Pull request is a mechanism used to signal that the commit from one branch are ready to be merged into another branch. So this is the next stage of commit. So what you do is you create a pull request to the owner of the project. Okay, you cannot uh, means basically it's mostly used when there are more than one collaborators or more than one contributors to a project repository, right? So you create a pull request. There is a simple button on GitHub that says pull request. You create a new pull request, write your message like what changes have you made. Then you will upload your code and send it to the owner. Then the owner will verify it and sees if everything is correct. There is nothing wrong with the code, and then it just merges to your main branch. Like you can all see that uh, here is someone making a pull request, like good pull requests have for description. This is an example file, right? So you can here see that it's merged. Okay, so and this Contoso is the owner of that repository. So that's how pull request and merging works in GitHub. Okay, so let's move ahead. Two most common terms and yet sometimes confusing terms are cloning and forking. Right, so GitHub provides multiple ways to copy a repository so that you can work on it. Of course, you cannot just directly jump into GitHub and make changes on the project file, right? So there are two methods to do that. It's cloning and forking. So let's understand them one by one. So what is cloning? Cloning a repository will make a copy of the repository and its history on your local machine. If you have write access to the repository, you can push changes from your local machine to the remote repository, also called as the origin, as they are completed. To clone a repository, you can use the git clone. This is the command to clone the repository. That is git clone and then paste the URL of that project. Right? Command or the GitHub CLIs like gh repo clone and then URL of that repository. So that's how cloning works. Clone will just create a copy of that repository into a local machine. Okay. Yes. Then forking a repository. So what is forking? Forking a repository makes a copy of the repository in your GitHub account. Understand that a cloning a repository will make a copy on a local machine, whereas forking a repository will make a copy in your GitHub account. Okay, so it will make a copy on your this please mute your mic. Yeah. So forking a repository will create a copy in your GitHub account as a copy of that repository, and the parent repository is referred to as the upstream, while your forked copy is referred to as the origin. Once you have forked the repository into a GitHub account, you can clone it to a local machine. Forking always Forking allows you to freely make changes to your project without affecting the original upstream repository. To contribute changes back to your upstream repository, you create a pull request from your fork repository. You can also run git commands to ensure that your local copy stays synced with the upstream repository. What do I mean by that is forking is always considered a good practice. Like forking will create a copy of that repository to a GitHub account. Then from there you have to clone that repository so that it will get copied to your machine. Like most of us use VS Code, for example, or different, for example, who does Android development, they will use Android Studio, and there are multiple IDEs for that. So after forking, cloning after the forking is the best practice, and that's how you will get all the code in your local machine. Then you will make all the changes, and from there, you should always push your code to the upstream branch. That is the original repository of the project, right? So, is everything clear till now? Is anyone having any other doubt?
Bhaiya, can we make changes in cloning?
Uh, um, like in the original repository?
Yeah.
Yes, you can you can make changes, but for that you need to have the right access for that repository, right? So if there is a project made by someone you don't know, right? So you cannot just directly go there and make changes. You first need to have approval of that owner, right? So if you
Okay.
have, yes, if you have the right access, you can definitely make changes directly to the original repository. So here is a visual representation how cloning and forking works. So here is a GitHub repository. You first fork it to a GitHub account. So that will make a copy of that original repository to your GitHub account. And then from there, you should clone it to a local device. So that's how cloning and forking works. Okay, so let's move ahead. And I guess we are about to, we are almost at the end of the session. So that here is the walkthrough. Fork a repository, create a branch, make changes, push it, delete branch. So yeah, I have some quiz for you all to make sure you all learn something. Is anyone having any doubt till now? Please, if it could be any silly question, I don't care. I will consider all of you as a beginner, like you don't know anything about GitHub. If you have any doubt, please ask.
क्रिस भाई मान लो कि आपका ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट है अपना and you make
Hmm.
someone admin in your project. So can he take over your project?
Like you want to change the owner of the repository?
Like can we there's multiple admins?
Yes, there can be multiple admins. There
And
is an
what if he
option.
kicks you out?
Sorry,
What if he or she kicks you out from your own project? So can you take it back?
I didn't get what you are trying to ask.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is like if you make someone else admin in your own project and
Hmm.
if he tries to be mischievous and he takes you out, he kicks you out from
Hmm.
your own project. So can you
Hmm.
take it back?
I don't think so. Like, obviously, you will not make someone admin you don't know, right? You will always
Right,
make
right,
admin a trusted person, right? So
right,
that's why in most of the cases there are multiple admins who know each other.
right.
You can be There is an option called as contributors. So if you want to contribute or make changes, anything in the code in the repository, you will you will be considered as a contributor and not as the admin or a co-owner of that repository. So
All right.
uh, all your contributions will be considered under that section.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, just a second. So I'll just show you all some repository, like this is how GitHub looks, so that you all get a little bit comfortable towards repository. So which repository should I open? Like there is a repository named as Cloudflare Pingora. Let's open it. It's on Rust. So you all can see there are multiple of files, right? And this is the readme section of the file. So it's a good practice, and you should always create a readme file of your project so that whenever someone visits your project, he or she should know immediately what your project is about through a readme file, right? So no one will actually go into your code, clone it, clone it into their system, and then run it to see what your code is doing. No one will do that. So you should always create a attractive, if not attractive, a basic README file to your GitHub account. Sorry, your GitHub project. So this is about Pingora. I don't know about this project right now. So uh, here are some features, reasons, getting started, workspace, and all license for it. So that's how you create a README file. It's in MD format. So yeah, and you all can see here are contributors to this project, right? There can be multiple contributors. So for this project, there are 29 contributors. So you all can see that this person has 4 commits. He added this number of lines, removed this number of lines, and yeah, that's how GitHub works. It actually make your life a lot easy when you're working with a team, and shows you like differences in the code, like what was it before these changes and what it's going to be after these changes. And here are some uh, yeah, some of its features, like there are 12.9 thousand stars of this project, 125 are currently watching it, and there are 701 folks of this repository, right? So what is a star? You star this project like it's a favorite section, right? In simple terms. In GitHub, it's called as star. So whenever you star a repository, it will be saved to a different section so that it will be easily accessible to you whenever you want, right? And here is a fork section. Just you have to click on fork and it will create a fork to your account. So I can show you to fork how to fork this, but I think this is a very huge project and this might will take a lot of time. So let's try it. Anyways. So yeah, when you click on fork, you should see something like that. Okay, it says create a new fork. A fork is a copy of repository. Forking a repository allows you to freely experiment with changes without affecting the original project. Right. So you all can see here. Here is my name owner. So it's creating a copy into my repository. You can also, if you have multiple accounts on GitHub, you can just select which owner you want. You can change the name of the repository. I'll just let it be. You can change the description. I would just add um, GitHub session introduction, or GitHub session. Let it be introduction. Okay, and copy the main branch only, and just click on create fork. Yeah, doesn't take much time. So you all can see this is my account, and inside of that there is a new repository named as Pingora, right? So and you all can see it's saying forked from this path, right? So the original owner of this repository is Cloudflare. So all of its code got forked into mine. Let me go back to my profile, go to repository, and yeah, you all can see it's showing on the top. Key, here is the new repository. And yeah, and that thing about stars is here. There's another section star, and I started this project, Cloudflare Pangora, and there are multiple stars I've done. So that's how you save repository so that you don't have to manually search again and again for that. And yeah, that was about forking and for creating a new branch. I guess I don't have a experimental repository right now, so I would not like to write experiment and let's go with this project. Okay, so to uh, create, I guess this is public. Yeah, you all can see that there are currently no branches here. All you can see is the master. Master is also is same as the main branch or the original branch or the origin branch. Everything is same, right? You can create tags here so that you label multiple things so that they are easily accessible in simple terms, right? So that's was about it. There are currently no pull requests. You can, right. There's a feature known as issues. So what you do is when if someone knows about the most common open source event is Hacktoberfest, right? So what you do is you go to the repository, you see the project, and you might encounter some issues, like there is a missing README file, like there is some typo error, or there is better improvement in the code, like you are removing some code and optimizing it. So what you do is you go to the issue section, create a new issue, right? Add a title like missing README file, write about it like anything you want, like this is that, create write about the project, and this is how you preview it, like how it will actually look. So you can add links to it, add code, text, attach files, anything you want, then submit new issue. So when you will click on submit new issue, see, there is a new bubble on issue tab, and it's saying like there is a new open issue in this file, right? And this was created by Krish Sharma, the owner, and it's saying like this README file is missing. So as a owner, I either close it or mark as completed, or I can uh, accept it so that that thing gets into my original repository. For now, I'll not uh, do that. I'll just close it later. So yeah, and let me show you
Bhaiya,
some. Yes,
Bhaiya, this issue section is for the contributors.
yes. This is for everyone. Like you can add a new issue as a owner also or as a contributor also. It is open for all.
So, if you add an issue, so this contributors can view this also.
Yes, everyone will be able to see that there is a new issue. So that's what happened in Hacktoberfest. Now there is a race uh, uh, between everyone, like who will solve more number of issues. Like what happens what happens in big projects. The owner assigns the issue to a particular person, right? So whenever you are contributing to a project, you first request the owner to assign that particular issue to you, so that there so that multiple people don't work on the same issue, right? So that's how issues
Okay.
work. Or whenever you visit a project, you can go there and see if there are any open issues you can contribute, or you can either create a new issue or as well. Like that's how issues work. I was showing you. Uh, huh. So this is a repository, I would say, quite good. So this is a repository known as to its master. This is the README file. So I have created a heading linked to it, table of contents linked to that, a video of the app that I have built, like how my app will actually look. So what happens in web development, like you can just you have either a link of the what you say GitHub pages or anything like where your website is hosted. You can directly go on that, but that's not the case for the apps, right? You have to set up the whole code in your local system to run or see the apps how they look. So that's why it's a good thing to add a video to it. So this is the whole video how my app looks. It's a detailed video. There are some features I have assigned. There's a live demo of Quizmaster. I don't know if it's still working or not. I'll let it be. And yeah, that's why I create a reading file. There are multiple files to it. You can add a description if you want. And yeah, so that was about the GitHub. I'd say let's get back to the PPT. Okay, so now we are starting with the quiz. Just a second. Okay, so now on, what I'll do is I'll show you a question, and this will be a multiple choice question, right? So anyone who knows the answer, directly just jump in and say the answer. I'll not manually ask everyone every time. If there are multiple people, I'll see that after the first question, you all can raise your hand and I'll ask each one by one. Okay, so let's get started with the quiz. Okay, so our first question is, what is GitHub primarily used for? First, social networking, code collaboration and version control, online gaming, or graphic design? Yes, Arpita.
Code collaboration and version control.
Okay, Priyanshu,
सेम यही है.
same area. Okay, Ayush and Aditya,
Same answer.
same answer. Okay, and yes, it's the correct answer. GitHub is primarily used for code collaboration and version control. So let's move ahead. Which of the following is a version control system used by GitHub? Who will answer it first?
Git.
Git.
Okay. Anyone else? Git.
Git.
Right. The correct answer is Git. Yeah. The version control system used for GitHub is, of course, Git. Yes, that's in the name of it. So the next question is, what is the purpose of the readme.md file in a GitHub repository? I just told it. First option,
B.
to store secret.
B.
Okay.
Option
B.
Okay. Nice response. Okay, everyone is saying B. That is to provide documentation about the project. Yep, that's the correct answer. Let's move ahead to the next. Yep. Uh, is anyone was saying anything?
Proceed.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is, what does the term fork mean in the context of GitHub?
A.
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 Very good. That is to create a copy of someone else's repository. Correct answer. Next question.
Repository क्या होती है?
Just a second. What is a repository? So whenever you upload a file, upload your project or anything you when you upload it to the GitHub, na, that is called repository. Repository is, in simple terms, is the folder in your laptop. You have multiple folders, right? In your file explorer, you have multiple folders. In terms of GitHub, it's called a repository, right? Your repository can contain multiple subfolders and files. Understood?
Okay.
The next question is, what is the best way to report a bug to a GitHub project? Option A, option B, option C.
C.
Let's see.
Option C.
Option
C.
Let's
C.
see.
Option C.
Okay. Option C. Search for the bug in the project's existing issue and create a new one if it hasn't been reported yet. Let's see. Yes, it's the correct answer. The next question is, suppose you have created a bug fix on a new branch and want it to become part of your next production build generated from the main branch. What should you do next? Option A, copy your branch
B.
changes and commit. Okay,
Option B.
who was that?
Option
Option
B.
B. B.
Option B.
Option.
Option
Okay, everyone is saying create a pull request to merge your new branch into the main branch. Yes, yes, that's the correct answer. And here is our last question. Suppose you'd like to work with a project on GitHub, but you don't have right access to the project. What can you do to contribute?
A.
Let's see.
A.
Yes. Oh,
Option
sorry.
A.
Option A.
Option A.
Option A.
Option A. Everyone is
A.
saying option A. Let's
Yes.
see. Yes, that's the correct answer. Fork the project repository to your GitHub account. Clone the forked
Thank you.
repository to a local machine. Push changes to your repository and submit a pull request to the target that is upstream repository. That's the correct answer. And yep, we are end with the quiz. Very great response. And so, what's the summary is? In this module, we learned about the key features of GitHub, including commit, branches, pull requests, and we learned how GitHub works. And we हमने थोड़ा सा used to है अपने आप को कि how GitHub actually look like. And yep, so yep, what is this thing? This is Microsoft Learn. So let me get back to the browser. Okay, just go to Microsoft Learn. Okay, I'll show you. So what is this? This is a platform by Microsoft where you can learn different technologies according to you for free of cost. As a student, you have access to multiple, not all, but multiple uh, courses, right? So here are popular learning paths and modules you can learn about Azure. I think you should go to career path, just career paths or browse all paths. So yeah, here are multiple products like .NET, Azure, Bing, Clarity, Consumer, Dynamics, GitHub, and you can also filter it. Oh, there are more like Microsoft के इतने सारे Microsoft Power Platform, for example, Minecraft, Office. There are multiples of courses available, right? Similarly, you can filter it for a different role, select your level, or you can have filtered for a particular subject like application development, AI, data and AI, data management, security, etc. etc. So from here, you all can complete modules, learning paths, earn your digital badge, and learn your particular interest of technology. Right. So that was about Microsoft Learn. This GitHub about you can also learn about GitHub on MS Learn. Also, there are multiple modules like you can learn in deep about how you create branches, cloning, forking, and pushing code, publishing code, contributing to everybody, and all. Right. So uh, now we are at the end of our session. Wait, no need to leave. We'll have a selfie time. Okay. Let me just stop my screen. Okay. So everyone, please open your camera. I don't care where you are. You can be in your bed, kitchen, wherever you want to be. Just open your camera and we have a small selfie time. Right? Everybody, show some enthusiasm. Open your cameras and wait. Please don't leave the meeting. I'll share the code with you all for the attendance. Very good, very good, very good. Priyanshu, please take the screenshots. Yeah. Wait a second, more people are joining. Everybody, please open your camera. If yeah, done. Okay. So yes, just everybody go to the chat section, and I'm sharing the code with you all. Right. So a code has been shared to you all in the chat section. Please, everybody, see that, copy that code. You have to write that code
चैट
on
शो
the.
नहीं हो रही है.
Sorry,
एज अ गेस्ट
chat.
ज्वाइन करा है तो चैट शो नहीं होगी.
नहीं, आई थिंक सबको चैट शो होनी चाहिए. नीचे एक चैट का ऑप्शन आ रहा होगा, आई गेस.
भैया चैट विजिबल नहीं है.
एज अ गेस्ट चैट विजिबल नहीं रहेगी. अकाउंट से ज्वाइन करा है तो
डिजेबल है.
ओके, किसी को विजिबल है, किसी को विजिबल नहीं है. ओके, सो मैं बोल देता हूँ व्हाट इज द कोड. कोड इज GitHub Rocks. ओके, GitHub Rocks. GitHub Rocks. ये कोड आपको डालना है इन द फॉर्म आई शेयर इन द group, so that I'll make that will confirm that you were till the end of the session. And yeah, let's hope. I hope to see you all soon in the next session. Till then, bye bye, tata, and thank you all for
ये
joining in. Yes, yes.
चलेगा क्या?
Sorry.
एनी पार्टिसिपेशन सर्टिफिकेट?
हाँ हाँ, सबको पार्टिसिपेशन सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा. Don't worry for that. Remember
ओके,
to
थैंक
write
यू.
that code GitHub Rocks. Okay. Yeah. If
Yeah, can you
anyone
repeat the
is
code?
uh, GitHub Rocks. GitHub
Okay.
Okay. So if
Bhaiya,
anyone is
everything
having
in
doubt, they
small.
can. Sorry,
Everything in small code.
uh, doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's doesn't matter if it's in caps or small. If anyone is having a doubt, they can ask me, or I'll just end this meeting in a minute or so. Everyone else can leave if they don't have any doubt.
You will also take GitHub classes.
Uh, if there are more number of people uh, want to have a particular session, have a dedicated session to GitHub, I'll definitely take that session. But I want a certain amount of numbers, right? Like I'll not teach one two students, right?
We will actively participate in that.
Let's see, because let's see if there is a huge demand for it. I'll definitely take another session on that.
Thank you so much, Chris bhai.
Most welcome. Okay, okay. So let's just end this meeting. Thank you, everyone.